Hi everybody, Jacob here from Children's Museum Houston. I am in the Chevron Maker Annex, and today I want to show you the world inside my computer using a program called Tinkercad. Now, Tinkercad, it starts with the word tinker, which means you're kind of tinkering around, but it ends with CAD, which is not really a word. It's an acronym that stands for Computer Assisted Design. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at a CAD program, which means a program we use to digitally design 3D objects. And while we're doing that, we're going to look at some cool optical illusions. So I'm going to make some 3D optical illusions for you all here that are going to be a lot of fun to look at. So let me take you into my computer. All right, so the first optical illusion we're going to look at today is called the Kinesa Triangle, as well as the Kinesa Square. And when you look at this optical illusion, what your mind thinks it sees is a white triangle over 3 black circles and an outlined triangle at the very bottom. And when you're looking at the square, you see basically the same thing. You see a white square over 4 black circles. But that's not actually what you're looking at. Your mind fills in those shapes. And if we look at this angle, we can see that what we're actually seeing is basically 3 Pac-Man-like shapes and then 3 sets of angles. And on this one, just 4 different Pac-Man-like shapes. There actually is no square, there's no circles, there's no triangles anywhere to be seen here. So that's a really simple optical illusion, a lot of fun to look at and to kind of think about how your brain fills in those blanks. So we're going to look at some other types of optical illusions as well. This one is called the vertical horizontal illusion. And when you're looking at it, you might think that the vertical line, the line that's going up and down, is longer than this horizontal line. But if I rotate the 2 lines and put them side by side, you will see that they are actually exactly the same length. They're the exact same length of line. This is very similar to our next illusion, which I have right here, which is called the Moeller-Lyer illusion, which has 2 lines, one with basically arrowheads going outwards and then one with arrowheads going inwards. And when you look at the 2 different lines, it looks like the one with the arrowheads going inwards is a lot shorter than the one going outwards. But again, if I move those lines next to each other like this, by clicking and dragging on them, you will see that they are the same exact length. One more very similar illusion. We're kind of grouping these together. And this one is probably the funnest, and it really works the best. So you're looking at, you see the 2 orange circles, and they're surrounded by different blue circles. One with small blue circles all around it, and one with big blue circles all around it. Which one of these orange circles is bigger? Well, it looks like the one with the little circles around it is bigger, doesn't it? But if I actually drag that one over, I can put it right on top of the other one, and it, once more, is exactly the same size. And that is your mind using context clues, right? It's using the clues of the smaller circles around it to say, wow, that must be a much bigger circle than the one with the bigger circles around it. So it's using those context clues, it's filling in blanks and kind of tricking your own perception. That is what these optical illusions are all about. Let's look at one of my favorite optical illusions, which is called the impossible triangle. And this is typically an optical illusion that is presented as a 2-dimensional drawing of a 3D object, but we are actually able to build a 3D version of this. It's kind of a trick of perspective here. And one of the cool things about Tinkercad is we can change the way that perspective works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay 5 squares all in a row there. And then I'm going to make an angle. I'm going to lay 5 squares in a column starting at the corner. Then I'm going to just stack 2 squares on top of one end. And finally, a triangle, a perfect right triangle right at the very top of those 2 squares there. Now, if we're looking at it as if it was the perspective of the real world, where things that are farther away appear smaller, right? And things that are closer appear bigger, then this illusion doesn't work. But in Tinkercad, there's this cool little button you can press, and it takes away the perspective view and gives you something called an orthographic view. And that takes away the trick of perspective. And now, no matter how close or far an object is, it's going to appear the exact same size, which makes it so if I just line up my view just right, we can have a 3D version of the impossible triangle. All right, let's move on to one of my other favorite illusions, which is going to work very much the same way, and which has a very similar name. Sometimes it's called the impossible staircase. Sometimes we call it the Penrose stairs. And the idea behind it is you can't really tell where the top of the staircase is, right? It looks like every step as you go around it looks like a step upwards, which is impossible. It can't possibly be that way. But the way we're gonna make it is very similar to the impossible triangle. We're gonna make a row of, this time, 6 squares, each one higher than the next, so step upwards. Then we're gonna make a pivot to the left, make another row of 6 stairs coming from that angle. Then we're gonna pivot to the left one more time, 2 stairs up this time, and then we're gonna pivot to the left one last time, this time only with one more step. And again, if we look at this with the perspective view, there's no way to kind of see the effect. But if we take away that perspective, if we make objects appear the same no matter how far they are, all objects appear the size that they are compared to other objects. In that orthographic view, I can angle my camera just right, and there we have it, the impossible staircase. And it's actually a 3D version of that impossible staircase. All right, so those are our optical illusions. That is kind of the world of Tinkercad. If you want to learn how to use Tinkercad, I do Tinkercad workshops. We do Chevron Maker Annex workshops through our My Projects, so check out those My Projects. And learn how to do Tinkercad with me. I teach you the basics, I teach you how to do all sorts of creations, and then you can make your own optical illusions on Tinkercad. So again, I am Jacob. This is the Chevron Maker Annex in Children's Museum Houston. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.